please welcome Mr. James Smith and Ryan Needham of Yard Act. What's going on, guys?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome to KCRW. You can sit right there. You have your own mic and everything. Welcome.
Thanks for having us, Raul.
First time here at KCRW, right?
First time here at KCRW.
And when's the last time you guys performed in LA?
Ooh, last time we were on the West Coast. It was at the Terrigram.
Oh, yeah,
When was
the
that?
Terrigram.
22, yeah. It was October 22.
Not long ago.
Was it? Was it October?
Yeah, a couple years ago. Wow.
There we go.
Well,
Yeah.
welcome. We're big fans of your music.
Thanks
and
for the support.
yes, give it up for Yard Act, everybody.
Thank you. Nice one.
And I gotta say, I love your guys' vibe. Just off the bat, I gotta start right
suits,
there.
or-
The suits are on point, without a doubt.
Yeah.
The suits with the docs and everything. No, but the vibe of the music, your energy, the way you guys present yourselves, just really dig it, man. Thank you guys so much for doing what you do.
Thank you for doing what you do at KCRW. Reciprocate, always reciprocate.
Well, I gotta tell you, here on radio, we always speak of what are driveway moments. And when I first heard 100% endurance, it was one of those moments. I was pulling into the driveway, pulling into the house, and Dan Wilcox, who's the DJ that follows me on Saturdays, played it for the first time. Yeah, give it up for Dan Wilcox.
Cheers, Dan.
And I was stuck in the car. I could not leave. And that was one of those moments really where I was like, what is this? And immediately when I got out of the car, I put it on repeat. And I noticed there were a couple of little foul words in there. You guys have a lot of mutes on some of your radio edits, so thank you for that.
Swearing's a part of life, isn't it?
It is. But, I went back in and did a bit of a deep dive into a lot of the unedited versions, so thank you. But has this, your energy, it just feels like you guys are always having just such a good time and a fun vibe and just really enjoying what you guys are doing. Has that always been the case?
It's a facade.
And where did it all start? Like, I know the Overload came out in 2022, but how did you guys get together? Give us a little background on Yard Act.
Well, Yard Act started in September 2019 was when you moved in with me, wasn't it?
Yes.
So Ryan was living in my spare room, and we started the band. Well, we started recording and writing. We'd been saying we were friends before that, but we were in different bands in Leeds. And both of our previous projects sort of came to a natural end. There was some overlap, but came to a natural end as Yard Act was starting. But it was the name came quite early actually, because you had it written down. We fantasize about starting bands all the time.
Okay.
I think that's an important part. I think that's an important part of the motivation is a good band name. We had a good band name, so we had to become a good band, and got there eventually. We were writing demos. We sort of formed a loose lineup with a couple of other members that played like free shows at the start of 2020. We had one song recorded, which was The Trapper's Pelts, which me and Ryan had done.
Yeah, great one.
Yeah, and so that was ready to go, and then the pandemic hit, and we thought, we'll just... we thought it was going to last 3 weeks, so we...
The pandemic.
Yeah, so we said we'd hold off from releasing this single until it was over.
Yeah, this is going to blow over in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then it didn't, and so we put the song out. It gained a bit of traction in the UK. Off the back of that, we wanted to put 7-inch out, and we needed a B-side for the 7-inch, so all we could do was we had a demo of Fixer Upper, which was, intended to be the B-side and was intended to be... Well, it was a demo version, and we got that mixed by our friend Ross Orton, and then that one kind of took off, and credit to it, changed our lives.
Yeah, well, and for the better, for the great things that you guys have done since. And speaking of, a couple years later, congratulations on a brand new album Where's My Utopia? Congrats. It's a
Thank you.
great record.
Cheers.
We've been playing it quite a bit here at KCRW. But you can hear that there's a bit of an evolution just in the short 2 years, you know? And talk about the evolution of the band from where you guys were then to now.
I guess it's, you know, we made the overload, but yeah, this is the first one. It's the, you know, the second album, but it's the first one we've done all together. So it kind of feels like the debut of the current, you know, of the solidified lineup of the band now. I guess we just learned how to play together better after the sort of we toured pretty intensely after COVID and stuff, and yeah, I don't know. It's just it was a natural. Still kind of wrote in the same way as we started out. It was just been a natural, you know. As you can tell, the origin story of the band's quite unremarkable, and we just kind of we just sort of followed our feet. Really, it was just the next step, exploring each other's friendships and writing styles, and yeah, just hanging out. That's never changed.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely sounds like you guys are bonding better and gelling better as a group, and even bringing in somebody like Remy from the band Gorillaz to help produce. And what did he bring to the table?
A lot of percussion.
Yeah. But the main thing that he gave to us was he instilled a confidence in us to be who we wanted to be. And I'd say the first album is who we are, and who we are is who we were at the time. But he harnessed that ambition we had and said, don't be afraid. You don't need to hold back on anything. Yeah. And we didn't because of Remy.
Well, that's very cool. And I mean, you've talked that Gorillaz is obviously an inspiration. I hear a little bit of Talking Heads, maybe a little bit of LCD, you know. But who are some of the other inspirations for the band?
What, on this record? Mainly on this record, it was another thing that Remy brought. He brought about 200 vinyl records, and whenever we kind of had we never had any like moments where everyone was looking around going like, what should we do to save this song? But he just kept putting records on, didn't he? It was like a big listening party in the studio. So it was just a lot of the stuff was what he brought in, stuff I'd never heard, half of it, most of it.
Yeah, there was, I don't know, like, I mean, we were quite into Bill Laswell and Material, and a lot of, like, and then seeing his connections, like, I didn't realise that he was behind, you know, Rocket by Herbie Hancock. And so we were listening to a lot of that. I mean, the first thing we did with Remy was the Trenchcoat Museum, which came before the album, and that was, you know, Rocker's Revenge and a lot of the Arthur Baker remixes from the 80s. I wasn't aware of how much Arthur Baker had done I'd already heard.
I gotta say, I'm a DJ and I love extended mixes, and Trenchcoat is like 8.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you get Arthur Baker to do it like almost 10 minutes.
Yeah. We gave Arthur Baker free reign, and he took it further than even we could have
Too
envisioned.
much free reign.
Yeah.
Well, the writing also is a bit more personal on this album, you know.
Yeah.
Your son, your family,
Yeah.
you know, and the evolution of your writing has also changed quite a bit, and it's a little more introspective.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't feel I could write outrospectively. I felt like I'd done that with the first album. I felt like I'd said what I'd say about the state of the world. Not enough had changed. A friend of mine's, you know, while we were writing it, said, "Oh, you're going to have loads of ammo for album 2 because it's only got shitter."
Right.
And I said, "Yeah, but it's still the same. I don't need to list the new. I don't need to point the finger at the new face of the same old evil. I felt like I'd done that, and also I felt very involved in my own head." Because touring kind of isolated me from England and the UK. I didn't feel connected to it because all of a sudden I'd lived in transit for 2 years basically, and so all I had to anchor myself was myself, and so it became more about me. And I don't think I had the confidence to do that on the first album. to make it all about me. But now
But now you can, no problem.
I've realised it's all about me. And,
We've had meetings about it.
Yeah. But you know.
You're putting the I in team. It's all.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we want to get to some live music, but I can't let you guys go without talking about Sir Elton John and that version of 100% Endurance. How did that come about?
So,
I mean, obviously he's a fan.
Yeah. So I got a text, a screenshot from a friend saying Elton John's just mentioned you in The Guardian, and it was just one line in this very small print saying that we were one of his favourite bands. And I thought, that's cool.
Getting the nod.
Sent that to my mum. Said, look at this, I am a success. My mum's always been cool, she's always been supportive. But thought that would be the end of it. Then about 6 other articles came out. He was clearly doing a press day and we were on his lips. So it was circulating that, you know, Yard were Elton John's favourite band. We then did a cover of Tiny Dancer, probably semi-knowingly of what game we were playing.
To like stoke the flames a bit more.
Then our manager texted me saying, I hope you don't mind. I've given your number to Elton John, and I said it's fine. He's going to call you within the next hour.
And you're like, yeah, right.
Yeah. So I sat on the end of my bed because my phone was charging, so I couldn't unplug it. Slightly hunched back because the lead's not very long. And waited for the phone to ring. And he kept me waiting up until the 59th minute, and then the phone rang. And it said it was from a number in Slough, which apparently Elton John lives in Slough, or it gets redirected to Sloughs to hide his true whereabouts.
He just doesn't want his number traced.
And that was the first conversation I had with him, and he said that David, his partner and manager, had played him our version of Tiny Dancer, and he loved it. And then he said, and just so you know, I'm a big fan, and if you ever need any advice or support, I'm here. And he does that with loads of new artists, like because he went through it himself and struggled with the weight and the pressure, and I'd like to point out that as hard as it can be, we did not have it anywhere near the amount of pressure or attention that Elton John did and what he went through, but it was very nice that he offered. And then he stayed in touch and he'd ring us every now and then one time he rang me and I just said, do you want to come in the studio with us? And he said, abso-fucking-lutely.
Wow.
And they were not my words, Raul, but the words of Sir Elton John. And,
don't mind the bleep. Don't mind the bleep.
And so we booked a studio and he came in and we collaborated with him, and I kind of relish telling this part of the story because it's quite well rehearsed now as well. You're not the first to ask. He went in and he played this absolutely wild, like Benny and the Jets style piano part over 100% endurance, and he played for 3.5 minutes, absolutely ripping, stride piano all over it. And we all looked at each other, and then I had to push the talk back and say, that was great, Elton, but it's not at all what we're looking for. And so he said, right, get in here and tell me what you want.
He was nervous, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was nervous, yeah, because we're,
Wow.
Because, what's Rocket Man in comparison? What's Tiny, what's I'm Still Standing? What's your song in comparison to Fixer Upper? Right. No, so he said, get in here and show me what you want. And we sat at the piano and we talked through it and we talked about what we wanted. And he was so amazing. And he said, I'm here to learn from you. You've hired me to be on your song. And yeah, it was cool.
He swore way more than that.
Yeah, it's only because we're on radio.
I know,
he's spicy, man. He's swearing all the time. Yeah. And he said, because I can't do what you can do, and I want to know how to do it. And that, at 75 years old, he doesn't need to do anything.
Right.
he doesn't need to care about new music. He doesn't need to care about what he can't do, and he does, because he's endlessly fascinated by music and creativity and what comes next. And I think that's why he is as relevant and important today as he was when he came out.
He's Sir Elton John. He's got good taste. Give it up for
Yeah.
Yard Act, everybody. James, Ryan. I guess we should bring out the rest of the band.
Yeah,
because
bring
we're
them
gonna
out.
do a little set of music now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Elton John.